Hello, everyone.
Hi again. We're on page 185 of the Proclaimer's book, still in the chapter recognized by our conduct. They're in the middle here of 3 pages on blood transfusions.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, they are starting. I guess there's a phrase that jumped out at me when I was reading this page, and that's the phrase high handed.
Mm-hmm.
High handed methods.
Mm-hmm.
Judges, even, and hospital administrators acting high handedly at the bottom of the page.
Mm. Yeah,
And again, loading up with here's this desired
us
emotional
against them.
response. It's us against them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll start the top of the page. Not all doctors and judges agree with these high handed methods. A few began to urge a more helpful attitude. Some doctors used their skills to provide treatment without blood. In the process, they gained much experience in all types of bloodless surgery. It gradually was demonstrated that all types of surgery could be performed successfully on both adults and infants without blood transfusions. In order to prevent needless confrontations in emergency situations, early in the 1960s, Jehovah's Witnesses began to make special visits to their doctors to discuss their position and provide them with appropriate literature. Later, they requested that a written statement be placed in their individual medical files stating that no blood transfusions were to be given to them. By the 1970s, they made it a general practice to carry on their person a card to alert medical personnel to the fact that no blood was to be administered to them under any circumstances. After consultation with doctors and lawyers, the nature of the card was adjusted in order to make it a legal document.
To support Jehovah's Witnesses in this determination to prevent their being given blood transfusions, to clear away misunderstandings on the part of doctors and hospitals, and to establish a more cooperative spirit between medical institutions and witness patients, hospital liaison committees have been established at the direction of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. From a handful of such committees in 1979, their number has grown to more than 800 in upwards of 70 lands. This is, of course, published in 1993.
Mm.
Selected elders have been trained and are providing such service in North America, the Far East, major lands of the South Pacific, Europe, and Latin America. In addition to explaining the position of Jehovah's Witnesses, these elders alert hospital staffs to the fact that there are valid alternatives to infusions of blood. In emergency situations, they assist in setting up consultations between primary care physicians and surgeons who have handled similar cases for the witnesses without blood. Where necessary, these committees have visited not only hospital staffs but also judges who have been involved in cases where hospitals have sought court orders for transfusions.
When respect for their religious belief regarding the sanctity of blood could not be assured by means. Okay.
By other means?
By other means, sorry. Jehovah's Witnesses have on occasion taken doctors and hospitals to court. They have usually sought simply a restraining order or an injunction. In recent years, however, they have even filed damage suits against doctors and hospitals that have acted high handedly. In 1990, the Ontario Court of Appeal in Canada upheld such a damage suit because the doctor had ignored a card in the patient's purse that clearly stated that the witness could not accept blood transfusion under any circumstances. In the United States, since 1985, at least 10 of such damage suits have been instituted in various parts of the country, and frequently the ones being sued have decided to settle out of court for a stipulated amount instead of facing the possibility that a jury would award even more in damages. Jehovah's Witnesses are fully determined to obey the divine prohibition on the use of blood. They would rather not take doctors to court, but they will do it when necessary to stop them from forcing on the witnesses treatment that is morally repugnant to them.
The public is becoming more and more aware of the dangers inherent in blood transfusions. This is, in part, because of fear of AIDS. The witnesses, however, are motivated by an earnest desire to please God. In 1987, the French medical daily, Le Quotidien du Médecin, stated, "Maybe Jehovah's Witnesses are right in refusing the use of blood products, for it is true that an important number of pathogenic agents can be transmitted by transfused blood." I think it's interesting. They keep going back to the medical advantages, despite saying it's not for that reason. But, of course, this all rings rather hollow after the medical emergency of the last 5 years, doesn't it, in terms of their legalism. The position taken by Jehovah's Witnesses is not based on superior medical knowledge originated with them. They simply have confidence that Jehovah's way is right and that he will not hold back anything good from his loyal servants. Well, that logic would seem to apply also to the COVID epidemic, wouldn't it? But here it becomes more a matter of being loyal to the organization. If a witness should die as a result of blood loss, and this has happened on occasion, Jehovah's Witnesses have full confidence that God does not forget his faithful ones, but will restore them to life by means of a resurrection.
And they reference Acts 24:15. But I think we should read it.
Yeah, why? Because what's your takeaway here, really, from this bottom line is, well, even if you do die, that you can be sure you have a resurrection because you were faithful.
Yeah. Well, I think it gives you the idea that you're resurrected because you deserve a resurrection. You're one of the good guys, and so you'll be resurrected. But I think reading the account, it's not just the good guys. It's not just the righteous that are being resurrected.
No, this is Paul here before his accusers and in front of Governor Felix at Caesarea. Paul's talking about, well, I'll start at verse 14. "I confess to you that according to the way," capital W way, "which they call a sect," that is, the Jewish opposers call the way a sect, Christians a sect, "I worship the God of our fathers, believing everything laid down by the law and written in the prophets." And here's the part they want you to see or think about. "Having a hope in God, which these men themselves accept, that there will be a resurrection." But notice this, not a resurrection of the faithful, loyal ones, a resurrection of both the just and the unjust. So I wondered why they'd chosen this particular verse as a proof.
Yeah, because when you read about the resurrection in different places, it's everyone has to stand before God or Christ at some point, and be presented with what they did while they were here.
And the accent is not upon whether what they did was good or not, because that's not the guarantee. That's not the reason you're resurrected, really. To have a fair judgment. It is an accounting for what you did while you were on earth the first time. But the way the witnesses have it is the faithful ones, they can be sure of a resurrection. So they would be the righteous. And that the unrighteous, therefore, have to be all those billions of people who never got a fair chance, which is not the biblical idea at all.
Yeah.
So why would they deserve to be resurrected? Because they never got to hear the Watchtower.
The message of the Watchtower.
That's right.
But everyone had the Bible. It's or the testimony of God is been in the world always.
The creation, the conscience that we all have, Romans 1:2.
Yeah.
So
they
we
didn't
don't
need the Watchtower.
No, we don't deserve to hear Jehovah's Witnesses good news, and we're not judged on the basis of Jehovah's Witnesses good news and theocratic arrangements during the millennium, as you have it as a witness.
You're limiting God to a very small little slice in time.
So this idea that no, God owes us all a fair chance, which you define by full disclosure of his purposes, the truth, as you call it.
As presented by Org.
Yeah. So, no, Paul's idea is God knew what we were the very first time.
Yeah.
We died because we were sinners, but that doesn't mean we're gone. We're going to come back to stand before his judgment seat.
Did we follow our conscience or not? Did we do what was right when we knew what was right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's our link?
J.W. Roots is a series that you were doing on the founding work of
Nelson Barber and C.T. Russell's book, The Three Worlds, which is mostly Nelson Barber.
Mm-hmm. So
but the Watchtower ideas, many of them that they still have to this day, are derived from that source.
So the one that you're going to specifically link is about this second chance millennium that they believed in, Barber and Russell.
Yeah, we don't know of any other group in history other than the Russellites and the people from whom they get this, which is the little collection of people around Nelson Barber. This idea of a second chance resurrection is a innovation.
So we'll put the series up too, which is based on readings from their book, The Three Worlds, right?
See you next time.